So I'm profiling BAVSARGRA Pure kind of early, like very early. Like this set just came out over like last Friday, but the deck hasn't changed. If you're playing pure BAVSARGRA and not BAVSARGRA, where like you're just splashing in the Overdress engine with arcs to draw extra cards, because this deck needs the draw. And on top of that, you were able to overdress with the grade 3s, just like to make very powerful, scary columns than you already could. That columns that had on hits, columns that had crits. But if you're playing the pure version of the deck, essentially nothing has changed because they gave you more powerful rear guards, but the thing that you were good at was making very powerful numbers, and they just gave you something that was... Like, I was not happy with the new support. The new support was good, but the new support is basically useless because they haven't fixed the deck's problem, which is inconsistency. So, let's get into it, I guess, and then it'll be very apparent as I continue. With the arms cards, I'm running... These are right? Or no, these are left. No, I'm running 6 right, and then only 1 left in the shield. Oh, this is... I'm going to have to fix this. Whoop, whoop. And whoop. So 4 spear. Spear lets you double equipped, so there's really nothing much to say there. 2 of the sword, just because I wanna get the sword's ability off at least once, and it's another search target off of your ride line if you happen to draw the shield. Even though most of the time you're almost guaranteed. What's it called? You're almost guaranteed always searching the shield off of your ride line. That's why you're running it at 1, but this is another target to search if you happen to draw the shield. But again, the reason I'm running double sword is because, again, if you're guaranteed a left arms, it's very important that you double arm. Like, maybe you could survive 1 turn without double arming, but it's very important that you double arm. This is one of those inconsistencies in the deck, so that's why we are not maxing out on it, but maxing out as much as you should on the arm cards. Moving on to the grade 3s, playing 3 BAVSARGRAs. Yeah. Oh, damn. Right there is good. Playing 3 BAVSARGRAs and then 4 Adarlas. Maxing out Persona Ride is just key. Even though you already do make big numbers, the soul is just very important because the soul is how you wipe from board and how you gain criticals. Adarla is, again, very important for your double equipping. You want to double equip as fast and as consistently as possible. So that's why I'm maxing out on 4 Adarlas, because of a certain grade 2 I'm running to up my consistency of seeing the cards that I need, seeing the key pieces that I need, which is my arms cards to double equip and trick moons. Because you could have double equipped, but if you see no moons, you're not doing anything. And there is no consistency in finding moon. You have to hard draw the moon, which is what I was really mad about with the new support. I was really hoping for a card that dumped Trick Moon from the deck to the graveyard, at least the card that dumped moon from the deck to the grave, but we didn't get anything of the sort. We just got a card that Superior calls moon from the drop, which is very cool, but it doesn't add to the consistency of the deck. Like, the deck has a problem with seeing its pieces, which is its arms cards and moon. Like, you have to essentially hard draw them, which is I really don't like. So we're playing 4 of Sheki. What this card does is it lets you drop an arms card to draw a card. And that's literally the only reason why we're playing it at 4, because it ups our consistency. This combos very well with Adarla. I know what you're thinking. Dude, you just said you need arms cards. Now you're discarding arms cards? You don't make sense. This is fine if you have Adarla, because Adarla lets you equip from the drop zone. So again, this is a card that helps you search for the arms card you need, Persona Ride, or the moons. Because again, you don't have any consistency to find your moons. Bushy. It just hurts so much. This deck has so much potential, but they didn't help it in the area that it was so bad at, which is consistency. Like, it helped it in, oh, The deck already has powerful numbers, right? Let's make them more powerful. Like, no, Bushy. Like, what are you doing? Come on. Like, the deck already excels in that area. It doesn't need any more help. This is the only new card we're running. The reason that we're running it, it's basically a better version of the grade 1 that was a 7K, because this is an 8K. Let me see, which one's which again? If you have the right arms equipped, it gets 5K power, and if you have the left arms equipped, you are able to intercept with this unit. Granted, not intercept from the back row, it just gains the intercept ability. So this is really only ideal if you already have your moons set up, and this is in the front row, you superior call it, and it's now an interceptor. I'm okay with it not gaining extra shield and intercepting, but Bushiroad, come on. You couldn't give it the ability to intercept from the back row? Was that really too broken? On a 5K? Was that really too broken, Bushiroad? Like, I don't get it. 4 PGs. There's nothing to talk about. 4 PGs. That's what you're running. And then, of course, your 4 moons, which is very important that you run at 4. Because if you don't see moon, your deck doesn't do anything. Oh, you're swinging 23 with a crit. Ooh. I'm sorry if I sound kind of salty, guys, but like, oh, like this deck showed so much promise on release and then did nothing. Because it has little to no consistency. Because if you don't see... you brick if you don't see a single moon. You brick if you don't see one of your two arms cards because you need to double arm. And you do see moon. Like, that's like a soft brick if you still see moon. But if you don't see your arms cards and you don't see moon, then like that is a very hard brick that you cannot play out of because of how fast the format is. Moving on to triggers. One of the Dragon Empire over trigger. This is the only deck that really makes the... Well, now the end kind of does. But this is the only deck that really, for a while, that made the Dragon Empire over trigger, like, super scary. Because she already gains a crit. You're swinging 100 million twice with a crit. They would need 2 PGs. They were already PGing your first attack, but you're asking for another PG on top of that. So there's really no reason to run any other over trigger. 7 criticals. I would like to run more, but because this deck has no consistency, we're running 4 draws. We're running 4 regular heals. Again, the logic is, since I can't afford to run fronts, I can't afford to run the new heals because their base is 10K, and I don't want to run any more 10K shields than I have to, which is the draws. So that's why we're maxing out on the 4 regular heals. I can't even honestly say that I would put this deck in tier 2. In my opinion, this deck is a tier 3 deck. Like, if it gets to play, sure, it's able to play the game, but again, you have no consistency in your pieces. Like, you don't need to see one of this. You need to see multiples of this, because this is the card in your deck that makes you make those massive column numbers. And you don't just want to have a massive Vanguard. You're a 3-attack deck. You need to have massive Vanguard and massive rear guards. So it's tier 3 just because of its consistency. I wish it was tier 2 playable, but I was just not happy at all. I tried playtesting the new cards and I bricked every time, because they didn't give this deck any more consistency outside of its ride line. And it sucks. It really sucks. This deck had so much potential, so much promise, but I guess we just have to hope for better generic support or better BAVSARGRA support in the future. I'm sorry, guys. I just really like this deck, man. This deck was cool. It was different. Like, no other deck does what this deck does. Or at least with the arm cards. But like, comment, subscribe down below. Tell me what you think about the deck. If I'm wrong, tell me why you think I'm wrong. Like, shoot me your lists. Tell me, like, oh no, like, B, like, you're wrong, dude. Like, this list is like very sweet. This list is very top tier competitive. And please prove me wrong, because this deck makes me want to cry looking at it. Later.